Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast, brought to you by Huntworth. Huntworth gear for all types of weather, all types of terrain, all types of budgets. It's clothing that just works. Check them out at huntworthgear.com. And right now over there, they've got a bunch of their cold weather stuff, 50% off in the clearance section. The Harrison hoodie is probably one of my favorite, like, all around, like just like a regular old hoodie. The Elkins vest over there is, you've heard me talk about that before. That's one of my favorite pieces of gear, bar none. I do most of my hunts in that with one of the Grayling hoodies underneath it. And then in turkey season, that Camden hooded, kind of like a mesh shirt, built-in face mask, hood. That's basically what I'll be wearing there. And then over at Latitude through the end of April, you can use code APRILSHIP to get free shipping through the end of April. So go check those guys out. And if you guys had been trying to order any zingers on the website, their website was down. I had to call Steve. I'd been getting some calls saying, hey, what's going on? You know, is Zinger no more, the website isn't working. Well, if you are like me and you do a million different things and you have a website and all this stuff, and you get a new card, it doesn't automatically change on everything. So their website was just down. They got that updated. It's back up and running, and you can head over there, order some zingers, and get those set up for TAC. Just this past weekend had the Muskegon Bowman benefit dinner for the MB Archery Foundation. Raised a ton of money for the foundation. Had a great time. Saw a lot of people out there. A lot of familiar faces. A lot of the guys from the deer camp. A lot of guys from the area. Hutch came down from Traverse City. Robbie came up from down by Indiana there where he's from. Just a great event. Joe came over from Flint. Just awesome to see everybody, get everybody in the same room. Just an amazing event. And, thank you so much for everybody that came out, that supported. We had a bunch of stuff from Big Shot. We had those cameras from Yellowstone, tons of stuff from Huntworth. Latitude gave us a bunch of stuff. Family Farm and Home, if you didn't know, they have tons of hunting gear, and they came through and helped us out just incredibly. Amish Ben Brown with Hobo Outdoors Gear. He donated something to the silent auction as well, but he walked away once again with one of the better prizes, a full meat processing kit, grinder, slicer, vacuum sealer, and the tubs and everything to go along with it. So that was pretty cool. But the Muskegon Bowman, they've got another shoot coming up. May 30th, I believe, is a weekend before the first Michigan TAC. There's a 3D shoot for the Michigan Bowhunters Association. We are going to have that elk shot, or the caribou shot, rather, out there at 111 yards. So you guys who are trying to figure out your shot, to figure out your tape, all that on the actual target, we will have that out there. Again, going to be May 30th, the Saturday before the first Michigan TAC. So yeah. And this podcast, we've got Skyler Bradley. If you are in the hunting algorithm, you can't have not seen his funny videos and all that. He's actually local to us, and I got him to come over, sit down, and just kind of cut it up about hunting and kind of everything that he's doing. But it's really cool because he's actually not beyond just like, I wouldn't even say that he's just an influencer because he's just doing funny stuff, but he actually hunts and fishes a lot and has his whole life. So he, even though he's making fun of it, all those come from like real world situations that he's been in or things that he's seen in the woods that just kind of make him laugh, and he kind of puts it out there. So this is just a fun, like lighthearted podcast, but it's kind of like a little bit of the man behind the helmet, I guess. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one because it is really fun. But as always, thanks for listening. Enjoy the podcast. All right, everybody, I'm back with another episode of the Bowhunter Chronicles podcast. And today in studio, we have Mr. Skyler Bradley.
How's it going?
You've probably seen him dressed up as a turkey, dressed up as a squirrel, dressed up as a deer, dressed up as a tradesman.
A grandma lately.
And so he's actually pretty local to us. And we were just talking about how he used to ride dirt bikes back behind my house, basically.
Heck yeah.
And so we ran into him at the ATA show, and he actually knows Jake pretty well, I think. So we just kind of hung out, and we've been keeping in touch. And just so we've got him on here, we get it out of the way first, just because it was such a big help to us. He's the one that got me in touch with the Yellowstone cameras and stuff like that. So for the guys who, because you're the one who's used them quite a bit, like, so tell us about your experience with those. I'm excited to check them out.
So to be honest, I used basically whatever kind of camera I could get my hands on. I'm not like a really, and you can probably tell from my videos, I'm not a super like brand type of person, I guess. But literally one of somebody over in Wisconsin that's local to Ben that owns Yellowstone just basically sent me a message one day, and I was trying to find some other trail cam places to work with, this and that. And basically this guy just threw me Ben's number and was like, hey man, like your videos are hilarious. And if you think this is something you'd use, check them out. I kind of pawned it off because I never heard the name Yellowstone AI at first. Not like pawned it off, but I was like, I'll just look into a trail cam company next year and try to figure something out there. Well, the year started coming to an end a little bit, and I was scrolling through my messages, and I just kind of looked back in there, and I ended up taking Ben's number down and sending Ben a text, and Ben sent me a handwritten note about this long on like a piece of paper. And, I like stuff like that, like personable people, whatever, and I don't remember the note word for word, but it was something about like, hey, we're a family ran company. We make great cameras. We have great customer service, and we also have a lifetime warranty. We have an amazing camera, but I won't lie, we suck at marketing. So here's 4 cameras. The data's comped for the next few months, and if you love them, you love them. If you don't, you don't. Just let us know, and I would love to work something out. So I was like, screw it. I took the 4 cameras, threw them out, and those 4 cameras that I put out it's probably been about for 9 months now. I put those 4 on a panel. He gave me a solar panel with them, and I have not touched those cameras since I put them out that day. So far it's going pretty good, and I think I have 17 of them out right now, and I really haven't had any hiccups on them so far. So they've been doing pretty good.
And the app, you were showing me the app, and I was like, that's pretty slick. Like,
Oh yeah. Yep. And like me, I mean, I'm not an old man. I mean, I make TikToks, so like everyone thinks I'm some techno wizard, but I'm really not. I like how the cameras have one button on them, on, off, and the rest is in the app, cleanly labeled. And I haven't messed with every other trail cam brand, so I don't know what every other trail cam brand has. But with me having the number of them out that I do, even that, it's got the maps are really easy to find. You can, sounds stupid to forget where a camera is, but I've already had it happen before a little bit. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's right there. And that, and all the stuff switches over pretty quick. They don't charge. They might be $1 or $2 more a month to get the big picture package on there. They do have like a $6.99 option now, but you can request HD for free. And dude, I have some like beautiful pictures of like sunsets and deer out there. I mean, they take really clear, nice pictures.
Yeah, that was one of the things when we talked to him. This isn't just going to be a commercial for
but, right.
But when I talked to him, I was like, your pictures, that must be where the AI is. And he was like, no, we don't use any AI. And I was like, oh man, then them pictures are sweet.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we got introduced to those cameras anyway. Yep. But so you said you make TikToks. I mean, I can't imagine anybody's like listening to this who hasn't seen one of those or of some sort. So you're a young guy coming into this, and
Yep.
you know, you weren't doing that. You know, right now, like with the kids, they would say, "I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a TikTok guy."
Yep.
Are you of that generation? Was that a thing when you were growing up?
So growing up, I always say it. I watched Bowhunter die, and that was basically the only one that I watched. And honestly, like, dude, I was never. I mean, I would get like all the early bucks and everything that I've ever killed. I have like one picture with them, like just holding it up. Like I always just loved to hunt. My Uncle Pat, Uncle Kirk, my uncles would always pick me up, take me. I'd beg to go every weekend. My dad would have me sitting under the tree. I'd be down there pissing my pants, just freaking begging to go, you know. And but really, I never was the kind of person to get on a camera or get on video or whatever. I hated talking to a camera. I hated really even taking the family pictures that my parents would make me go take or whatever and whatnot, you know. And but really, I don't even know how to explain it. Like I did always want to do something like that, and I literally remember like days, like being at work or sitting out in my tree stand. I would just sit there and think like, all right, I got to do something here because I want to do this all the time. You know, I mean, it was just something I always wanted to do, but I didn't know how to get there really, I guess. And it's funny because like when I was working construction and everything, I like my boss would literally like make jokes to me, you know, and I'd make all these guys laugh and whatever. But and I've said this like 4 or 5 times now in the past, but one day it was just like a flip switched, you know, and I noticed everyone in the break room was on their phone, for example, like, hey, look at this reel that this guy posted, you know, this and that. And I literally just thought to myself one day, I was like, you know what? I was like, if I can make 10 guys at work laugh that I'm working with or whatever, or even 2 guys, like there's got to be 100,000 more, you know? Like, I mean, I just got to do what I do at work and what I do with my friends, you know, or even at like bonfires, like I'd always make my buddies laugh or what, just with like the stuff that I would brew up, you know? And, so literally, and I was nervous as hell, dude. I made one. I remember I made it behind a fan up on the roof, and that one got like 13,000 views or something. But the first one that actually popped off, I made it behind and it was a real thing that happened. Like, you know how the guys at work, like, you know, like if when they unexpectedly ask you to work at like a weekend, like, dude, I used to live my weeks like, man, I really hope they don't ask me to work this weekend. Like, and you know, you always, you know, baffle off to your friends like, oh, I'm going to tell them to, you know, screw off, or, you know, like I'm not doing it if they say, and then every time they ask you, you're like, yeah, you know. So I made like a 13-second clip literally of like that whole interaction because it literally had happened to me that day. And, dude, I remember I worked that Saturday, got out of work, never checked it, went up to a fire at my uncle's on the river up there, and literally one of the guys that I worked with called me and he said, dude, that video's at like 500 something thousand views. So I freaking looked at it, and dude, every time I refreshed, it'd get like 10,000 views. And I was wearing a company hard hat in that one. And literally from that day, dude, I bought a hard hat from Harbor Freight, spray painted it blue. And I would think all day. And I was nervous for like the first 6 months. I won't even lie. Like I used to come home, no matter if I was hunting after work, fishing after work, like whatever, I just made it like my job. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this, you know, and my dad always told me like, hey, if you want to be like different than other people, you got to do something a little extra. And like, I remember being little, dude, my dad would like install furnaces. Like he always had like just something little on the side going, you know? So I was like, oh, like this could be my side thing, you know? Cause I saw people making money on it. I saw people doing this or that. So literally I would come home every day. I would set my phone on a stud in my dad's garage, and I would just throw that hard hat on and make one every day. And you know, some of them did bad, some of them did good, but dude, I remember nights I'd make 3 or 4 of them, like until I got one to go, you know. And then it just got more consistent, and I didn't miss a day for like 2.5 years straight. And I made $230 for the first 2.5 years, but that's besides the point. Because really, at first, it was just great, you know, knowing that you made like this many million people laugh last month or like whatever. And it's still great knowing that, but you know, I put a lot more work into it now than what I did at that point in time. But yeah, dude, and like even like I remember the first salmon run, I was like, fuck, I gotta stick to this, you know. Like I'd get out of work at 5, And I just basically got it down to where I could make a video like, in 10, 15 minutes, and it just added a little bit to my day, and I just did that.
So like for that, like with podcasting, like hearing your own voice or like having to watch it back, like that starting off doing that and then having to watch it, like what did you think of that side of it?
It was something, and I would cringe out bad, and then every time I just like got over that fear and posted it, and like, the first comment comes through like, hey, this is your best one yet, or hey, this is funny as hell, like this happened to me, because I would literally like, what it turned into is all day at work I'd just be thinking about like, all right, by the time I leave work today, I need something relatable because dude, every day at work you bust out laughing about something, and it was just recreating that one situation that made me laugh that day and sharing it with all these other people, whether it was an old guy saying something funny about what his kid did, or me calling my dad in the middle of the day and being like, dude, I just found this lifted diesel truck on Marketplace and like I want to buy it, and my dad being like, oh, don't buy that, bud, you're wasting your money, like that's stupid as heck, dude, I was so cringed out at the first ones. Like, dude, I literally remember like my friends would call me, my little sisters would call me, and and really like. Yeah, I still get that sometimes. Especially, like, dude, the turkey costume. I hate the turkey costume. I'll be the first one to say it. I hate that thing. And, like, a lot of people love it, and, like, a lot of people probably don't even think about it as deep as I do, but I secretly get a little embarrassed in the turkey costume, But, and no one would probably ever think it because I go out there and fake gobble or freaking whatever. But, yeah, for some reason, the deer costume's way easier.
So have you, like, run into a situation where you're, like, because right now you're doing some of these at the boat launch where you're like running around doing all this stuff and people are looking at you like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah. And it used to be a lot harder, but now most of them know me. So like, but dude, I posted a video a year ago and it actually went really viral and I didn't think it would, but it was turkey season last year. I had a blow up doll in a turkey costume. The turkey costume rested up on the tree. I was wearing camo, holding a orange Nerf gun, and I went and made them out in some public land, like right down the road. Because once in a while I'll go out there and do it, and dude, it was by the dirt bike tracks. But I wasn't on a trail. I was off the trail a ways. And these, dude, literally next thing you know, I hear wing, like coming through the woods, and I'm standing there holding a blow up doll, dude. And like I got this blown up doll pinned up against the tree, and I'm freaking holding this gun because I was making a video like to where the turkey put out a decoy for the hunter, And dude, next thing I know, I see two orange KTMs like 30 yards away, freaking pulling through the brush. And I was just like, hey, like, I swear I'm not a weirdo, man. Like, and the dude literally pulled his goggles off and they were like, what the heck, and then they just took off and went the other way. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was the most awkward thing of my life right there. But honestly, like moments like that, they'll make it easier to just do it,
I always think in situations like that, like when me and my friends are like, where you're out somewhere drinking or whatever, you do some stupid shit and you're like the next day, or you're like recounting one of those stories and you're laughing about it like you're doing right now. You have to think about the flip side. Like every like turkey season, you're like, remember last year when you saw that guy with the blow up doll? Like, let's say they never saw you on social media. You're like, what in the world was that?
Oh yeah. I just gave him a lifetime memory, like, hey, one time we were riding through the woods,
It's like, oh my gosh. So like, for you, like because with John, he says if like bow hunting or fishing, he'd pick fishing all the time. Like you do a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing. Like, which would you choose?
If you asked me while I was working that question, I'd say hunting all day, because I would have said I'm going to work all year and then I'm going to take all of hunting season off, and that's exactly what I'd do. Now that I've had a little bit more time to fish, I don't know what I'd do without fishing. Cause I would say, honestly, if I could, cause I could go around and hunt all year, just like run the seasons in different places. If I had unlimited amount of money and I could go hunt anything I wanted, anytime I wanted, I would definitely choose hunting. Probably. Yep. But but fishing's fun too. It's just not the same. Like, dude, I love deer hunting. I like turkey seasons this weekend. Like, I won't do any fishing this weekend. Like, I'm going to go turkey hunting. And then if I kill a turkey, I'm going to find someone else that wants to kill a turkey, and so on and so forth. Just because it is, I don't know, it's fun. Like, you're like fishing, you're tricking them, but it's underwater. Like, it's cool and all. And I mean, and I know a lot of people hate live scope. Live scope makes fishing way more fun, I think, really. Like, I mean, it makes it more like, you know, like you can see their reactions to the bait, you know, like it does make it more of like a technical, it makes it easier, but it makes it like, because it doesn't make the fish bite, you know. I mean, I don't know. It's just, yeah, that's a really hard question. I really struggle with that one.
Well, like I said, you're doing a lot more of like the fishing stuff right now because there's
Yep.
really nothing in season.
Yep.
There's no
Yep.
hunting season, like so turkey hunting. And turkey hunting for us is kind of weird. I mean, it's not weird, but we have right where we live a huge turkey population.
We have a lot of turkeys.
And we can only kill one.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
crazy.
It's like
it sucks.
And that's the thing where I always say about turkeys is like nobody's ever like missed a turkey and been like want to go jump off a bridge because it was
right.
like a Boone and Crockett turkey.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
But with a deer, it's 100% different.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Dude, I've been hard. Dude, every time I take a shower, I think about a buck that I missed at my dad's in 2018. Like on October 19th, 2018 at 4:38, I missed that deer. I think about it all the time. All the time.
Now, I say that about missing turkey, but you killed a pretty special turkey, right?
Yeah. A weird turkey.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
what's that story? I don't think I've ever heard it. I think I've just seen the turkey.
So one of my buddies, he married this girl, and the girl's parents live right by my grandparents. And my grandpa has like 30 or 40 acres right there. Her dad has 30, 40 acres right there. Well, they have a bird feeder in their backyard. My buddy was hunting out there in the past season, and he didn't like hunt a whole bunch, you know, and he kept telling me, he's like, dude, I keep seeing this like white turkey, you know, and I'm sitting there thinking like, you know, it must be a chicken or something, you know, because no offense against my buddy, I love him to death, but I just thought maybe, you know, like whatever, you know, I mean, who in the heck knows? So I, whatever, I kind of forgot about it over the winter, you know, whatever. And I kind of figured like farm bird that got out, whatever, which it still could have been that, but I've tried really hard to get to the bottom of that thing, and I haven't. So anyways, the next year rolls around. It's like March 22nd of like the following year, right? And I had just bought my turkey tag, and I let my grandpa know. I was like, hey, I'm turkey hunting. Because my grandpa doesn't like turkey, so I'll take his Ranger and scare them all off all the time. A few weeks before season, I'm always like, hey, chill on the turkeys for the next couple weeks, so and then I can come hunt one, you know? And he called me one day, and it was pouring rain. He said, hey, I got a white turkey in my field. Like, I want you to come look at it. And I was like, really? And I was working right down the road. So my first break comes, I hop in my truck. I told my foreman, I was like, dude, I got to go look at this turkey. Like, it's out in the field. I just want to see it, you know? I take off down to my grandpa's, and I freaking go up. He has a big well hill back there. I go up on top of the hill with my phone and tripod, and I freaking zoom way in on it, you know? And I'm like, no shit. And it was standing out there with 8 other toms, like just standing out there. They were just, you know, it was pouring rain. They were just kind of hunkered down under some pine trees, milling around. And I was like, no freaking way. And me, my YouTube was just like starting to take off a little bit. You know, I was like, man, I gotta freaking make sure I get, like, I don't care if it's a Jake. I don't care what it is. Like, I want that turkey right there. And I really didn't do too much research on it at the time because I didn't want to like tell everyone about it. Well, then someone on Facebook, there was another bird feeder like half mile down the road. And then I got a picture from another kid that lives like 2 miles down the road. Like, and then people started talking about this white turkey, right? And I just kind of shut up because I knew where he was roosting every night, you know? And I kind of went out there for a walk. I watched this. So it was perfect, dude, because my grandpa's got this big creek bottom. You can watch. There's all these giant beech trees across the creek. So you can watch from a really long ways away, and it's not hard to see a white turkey up in a tree, you know? So, I mean, for, I don't know, the 12 days before it, I went out there and watched, but like 3 nights before, he started roosting somewhere else. Well, and I have no idea why. So, and it's the backstory of it's kind of funny because, you know, I didn't see it for the last 3 days. My buddy that was going to film me go and hunt this turkey, he'd never shot a turkey. And he told me, he was like, hey, like, you know, my grandpa's got a lot of turkeys over there. He was like, hey, after you kill that white one, let's try to get me one, you know? So I was like, screw it. I haven't seen him in a few days. Like, maybe somebody shot, because he was on bird feeders and this and that. And you know how people are. I mean, I didn't know if somebody maybe shot him, you know? And, my grandpa heard a couple of shotgun shots, really close to, like, you know, like the 4 o'clock time, like to where he'd be going through that area, you know? So I'm thinking, like, dang it, you know? Like, I wonder if someone really did that. Well, and if you watch the YouTube video, I had just one of my buddies film it that doesn't have a lot of film experience, which is no big deal. We still got a great video out of it. It was a really cool turkey hunt video. And luckily, my grandpa's property is like a roll. Like, dude, the whole thing does this. So it's like really easy to turkey hunt because you can literally, like, you can cross the creek and you can like get down, and you can get down in one of these ravines and you can go across the whole property. So we get in that morning, we walk up the trail. I was going to like the third one down because I watched them all roost the night before, but I didn't see the white one. But I knew there was other turkeys there. So we crawled up. We were in this little hole, and these turkeys are going off all over. And we did go to the bar the night before, me and my buddy. And I was going to put it in the YouTube video, but I didn't because there's a video of me holding the Michelob Ultra the night before. And I said, I'm blasting that fucking white turkey in the morning. Which is just funny backstory for it. So we were not feeling, we actually woke up late, and it was funny because I got a bunch of comments on the YouTube video like, I'd have got there earlier, this and that, all this stuff. And I was like, well, I wanted to, but I couldn't. And so anyways, we get down there, and me, like, I like killing stuff, so like I wanted my buddy to kill a turkey. And I literally like grabbed the phone from my buddy. Like and when we walked in, dude, one of them birds switched trees like in the middle of the night. Like, I know there was no birds in this tree. I walk up, dude, and 2 turkeys take off out of a tree. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is done. Like, this is done, because turkeys might be dumb, but like they can see good, and they will run to the next county if you like scare them, And I was like, yep, this is over, whatever. So we're sitting there, and all these turkeys, they keep gobbling. And we didn't like scare them bad. Like, we were crawling, and they just knew something was wrong, so they just kind of like, just went off, Well, all these other turkeys were gobbling like 80 yards down. And luckily, how I was saying, my buddy married that girl, I had permission on that property too. So I had like a huge chunk back there that I could like run around and mess with these with. So I told my buddy, I was like, hey, we're just going to sit here and wait like an hour. And we're going to let them get down, let them do what they do every morning, and just like chill, So I had a decoy set up. We found this perfect little spot behind all these pine trees. And we're sitting there. And I freaking called a couple times, dude, these toms come right over the hill, walking freaking right up to us. And I'm like, dude, screw it. Let's freaking double up on these things and shoot them, And I told him, I was like, I haven't seen the white one in a few days. Like, something must have happened to it. Like, whatever. Like let's, I will happily shoot a tom, and we could get a cool, like, doubles opening day video, Well, dude, these toms get like 60 yards away, and they're kind of behind this brush stuff. And dude, my buddy literally goes, holy shit. And he'd never seen it. Like, he had just seen the first video. He goes, dude, there's a white turkey walking towards us. I was like, no shit. So this turkey would not listen to us, would not, whatever. But I knew, so I had a spot picked out for a blind, like a week prior. But when they switched where they were roosting, I kind of switched where I wanted to sit, And, dude, sure as heck, all them turkeys walked right up, right in front of the makeshift blind that I wanted to make. Like, I watched them do it. Like, dude, it would have been, that spot would have been freaking money. And you could have walked into it, never crossed the creek. You could have, there's public land on the backside. That was the other problem. The whole back of it's public. So I was like, oh, I don't want to, like, let them get over there, because I know guys turkey hunt that, because there's a lot of turkeys in that area. Well, these things all go up to the top, and they're going off. There's like 40 turkeys at the top of this freaking hill, and that's where I was saying it made it really easy to turkey hunt. So, and then, dude, we let them go all over the hill. So as soon as they go all over the hill, I was like, screw it. Like let's go try to get them. And you can see in the video, we're walking up this big old hill, and I didn't know exactly what was at the top of the hill. We come over the hill, dude, there's a massive oak tree that had like just fallen down, and it was laid over like perfect. So I freaking crawled up behind that, and there was a bunch of big like dead brush, in front of me. So it was like perfect, and I told my buddy, I said, stay like 20, 30 feet behind me and just video everything. I said, because I'm going to shoot something, And I get up there, and I can just see right through this little thing. I can see that thing all puffed up, and I'm like, oh yeah, there he is. And he's like 80 yards, like on the next hillside over, so he had to like make a whole move backwards, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen. So I literally sat there, and I just made the most silent like purrs, and people were commenting on the video saying I called too much, this and that. I sat there for like an hour, over an hour. Like, dude, that chunk of video is like well over an hour. I don't remember the exact number. It's like an hour and 45 minutes, I think, of just straight recording, like me just calling and them gobbling back. And dude, I was waiting 10 minutes in between each call, 20 minutes. And the other problem is all these jakes that were like, they would come over no problem. Like, dude, I would purr a couple times. Them jakes would come to the other side of this deadfall. They'd be 5 feet away from me, and I could hear them. Like, I could hear them on the other side, just like, like pecking at the branch, like looking. And I was just sitting there like, please don't come over this deadfall, dude. Like, cause then this whole thing's gonna be screwed up, And that white one wasn't he had a full fan like a tom. He had little tiny spurs on him, but his beard was only about like that long. It almost looked like beard drop, but I don't know, because he had a nice like thick beard on him, But he was white, so I wanted him. And so anyways, I'm sitting there, and dude, it was crazy, because so I was on these 2 pieces of property. The property line was right here, And when I make videos, obviously, I want to make sure like I'm not, there's no private property sign. Like, I follow the rules. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they, so these turkeys came in, dude, and I couldn't get them to come. It was like he let every other turkey try to come over there and check it out before him. And then finally, dude, he fanned up, looked over towards me, and dude, I just let out the littlest purr, and I took the leash behind me and just shook him, and he came running over, like, dude, and then I literally came over the deadfall, shot him, but his head, and you can see it in the video, when I shot him, his head went back and hit the property stake for the back of the property, like it hit the property stake, like I was right on the line, and yeah, I killed him, and I have its tongue. I could send it in. I can still send it in to get a DNA test. I have its tongue in my freezer. But, dude, I've asked everybody in that area. Because, like, if I shot someone's pet, like, I want to know, But it was out there for over a year, living with wild turkeys. I don't know. It looks like one of them Royal Palm turkeys more than it looks like anything. But, I mean, he was living out there. He made it through a whole winter. He was living with all the other turkeys. The other turkeys beat the shit out of him. They were a little racist to him. No, I'm serious, dude. But it was cool. Yeah, I don't regret shooting it at all. I'm actually getting a full body mount, and I get it back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of it, and it doesn't look. I mean, it looks kind of like one of those gray faced turkeys, but it doesn't look. It's a little different.
Well, yeah, and like its wings weren't clipped, so like it flew into roost every night. I mean, it's. I don't know, because I know a lot of them farm birds have their wings clipped because they live in a pen and they don't want them flying off. It didn't have its wings, so nobody ever clipped its wings. I don't know where it came from, what it was doing, if someone let it go. Like, yeah, I have no idea. But it was cool.
So did you, I mean, you must have grown up then turkey hunting, because I didn't grow up turkey hunting at all until I was like 20.
Yeah, so I grew up around it. My dad took me out when I was little. A few years in a row, I shot a Jake, and my dad and I, we don't take turkey on it. I take it more seriously now because I have the time to do it. I steelhead fish a lot and trout fish a lot. So normally turkey season falls like right in between that. So that's kind of what I put my time into during this time of year normally. But now that I have some time and, especially last year, dude, like I had so much fun out there messing with that white turkey, like my grandpa's got 2 big toms at his house right now. And like, I want one of those too, So, I mean, you can still make it fun. I mean, it's still fun. And like, you can make it even more, like, I got one of those decapping broadheads, and I set up a tent the other day, and I'm going to try to take one's head off with a bow. Like, I mean, so you can make it a little bit more fun and challenging than what it already is, because I swear, and they say it all the time, like, if a turkey could smell, they'd be hard to kill. Like, they'd be almost impossible to kill. Like, them things, especially if you're hunting, like, third season, dude, them things get smart, actually. I mean, it does turn into more of a challenge than people put it out to be. I think people just... Like, you see them in these neighborhoods, people feeding them, whatever. Like, it seems really easy, but it's kind of like squirrel hunting, Like, you go out squirrel hunting, you see deer, you go out deer hunting, you see squirrels, and you're sitting out there the whole time like, man, I come out here and shoot 20 squirrels, and you go out there and you shoot no squirrels, and you don't even see a squirrel, and squirrels are, like, non-existent, So, I don't know. It's fun, but, yeah, I shot a Jake when I was a kid, and, I turkey hunted quite a bit. I tried on my own a lot, failed a lot, because my dad wasn't super into it, so once he took me a couple times... I would try to go out and do it on my own, and I was never super good at it, but I don't know. I have a lot of fun messing with them now.
Yeah, it sounds like you did a lot of like hunting and trapping and stuff like on your own, like when you're a kid. And that's one of the things like I think is really cool. I think it's nice to like get out there and tell people that it's like because there's a lot of people on social media or whatever that are just like it's only for the gram, like it's not their real life. Like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this. And for you, it was like. I got a Bowhunter die style video like on YouTube that you could never find. But
right. Yeah. I'm going to show that one of these days. And it's funny because after the Bowhunter die podcast, they were like, hey, can we have that and put clips? And I was like, just wait, man. Like, but that comes, and not that I'm embarrassed about it, but dude, the cringe out thing you were saying, oh my gosh, I just got myself to watch it like freaking a year ago, So yeah, but I mean, no, it's fun and I will get it out there one day. But I wish we had iCloud and everything back in the day. Because, dude, like, I used to have, behind my dad's house, I bet you I would ask for tree stands and trail cams every single year. And I had, like, 11 of them big Moultrie, those big Moultrie square trail cameras way back in the day with the big D batteries in them. I had 11 or 12 of them. Dude, I had like 13 or 14 tree stands out in my dad's woods because my dad only had 5 acres, but the neighbor had 5 that I could use. The neighbor across the street had 40 I could hunt on, and then our neighbor directly across the street had 30 I could hunt on. And then like directly behind the house we had another neighbor that had 25 I could hunt on. So dude, I would go hard out there. And it's funny, I shot my first buck with a bow riding my pedal bike right down past Jake's house actually. And yeah, I went out there and I literally called my dad because he was going to a soccer game, and I was like, Dad. And it stunk. I watched this, and this would never work out in my adult life either, Like, my dad put up this double stand for me when I was like 10, because, when I was a kid, I'd shoot my bow like every day, And I shot my first deer at like 29 pounds with my Uncle Dub, actually. And he screamed across the woods like, "Nice shot, buddy," and that was back when you could bait. He had a pile of apples out there, dude, and I saw this deer coming from like 100 yards away, and I was like, "Oh yeah, dude!" I freaking stood up, and and my uncle told me, he was like, "Hey, practice a 25-yard shot like all week. Like, got a bait pile at 25 yards. You're coming into it all the time. Like, you're gonna have a chance." This was so perfect, dude. This deer came in. My uncle was sitting in a climber right up the hill. He could see the whole thing. And my grandpa sits outside by a little fire all the time, so like my grandpa, they always put the bait pile so my grandpa could watch the deer too, And, dude, literally, I was sitting up there shaking so bad, dude. I freaking drew back on this thing 25 yards, and I remember watching that arrow go, and just freaking, like, drop right into where I was aiming. I was like, yes. And it was funny because it ran by my Uncle Dove and died. And, sorry about that. But, it ran by my uncle and died, and he screamed across the woods. He was like, "Nice shot, buddy!" Like, and I was literally shaking so bad. I was like, "Thanks," But dude, it was great, and my grandpa got to watch me shoot it. Yeah, so it was cool. It was cool, but I don't remember where I was going before that. But
well, I was just saying like how you were, kind of did that stuff like on your own,
yep.
Like in that, because that's the one I was thinking about was the one on your pedal bike, like
yeah, oh yeah, and then that one. Dude, we had a so across the street we had this older couple that lived over there, and I was really close with them growing up, and they always let me hunt out back. And so my dad put up that double stand for me when I was a kid, and I always only hunted that, Well, that year I was like 14, and I just like had started using a Summit Viper climber, this and that. And I told my dad, I said, "Hey, I'm not going to the soccer game. I'm going across the street, and I've been seeing this buck, this 7-point, or no, there was a 1-horned buck out there." And I didn't know about the 7-point yet. I had him on camera that summer. And I was like, he's coming out in this spot like every night. And it's funny how it worked because I jumped him like that day. I went and put out the climber earlier that day, and I put the climber out there, and then I freaking drove home, got my bow, and then went back. Like, I don't know what that thought process was. And dude, I came back, and dude, it was like 4 o'clock, like right after school. I freaking rode my pedal bike down there. I took the climber, got up the tree, and I was sitting on the climber, like literally sitting there. My dad called me, and he was like, "Hey, like, I'm going to your sister's soccer game." And I said, "Hey, I got a big buck, like 80 yards behind me." And my dad gave me this whole lecture on the phone. Like, dude, we still make jokes about it to this day. Like, not a lecture, but he was like, you can't be like fibbing about what you're seeing, Like, there's no way you'd answer the phone when there's a nice buck behind you and this and that and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, dude, like, whatever. And the weekend before, I was helping my buddy sight in his bow, so we stuck a 40-yard pin on my bow, like kind of as a joke, And the weekend prior to this, I wounded a really nice 8-point, and I was still really bummed about it. Well, this deer comes out, dude, I missed him at like 15 yards. Like 15, dude, like right over his back. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Dude, he went out to 37 yards. And at this time, I was shooting like, I don't know, 45, 50 pounds probably. My Uncle Jeremy had gave me a Hoyt XT2000, which is like an old bow at the time, but like I shot it all summer, like every day. Like I got better with it, but I really had to like, to pull it back. And I freaking jerked that thing back, dude. And I had this arrow, and I used to hang my quiver underneath because I didn't have something to like connect it to my bow. So I used to carry my quiver and bow like separate. And I'd tie the quiver to my bow with like this little string, but I'd always tie the string to the arm of the climber, the arm of the tree stand. So I'm going for another arrow, and I reached out and grabbed my grunt, and he stopped, dude. I had a hole like this, and I was like, he's about like 40 yards, and I freaking drew back, and I sent one in there, dude, and it went like right in the boiler house, dude. Like, I smoked him, and then it was the best feeling ever. I literally called my dad, and I said, "Well, hey, can you come help me track him? Like, I just shot him, and it was a really nice 7-point. It was a really nice first buck with a bow, you know, but yeah, that was great. That was really cool. I was really happy about that. And I still have that buck. I got it mounted. Yep. So yeah, that's cool. I have it. I think about that every time.
And so how does that like progress for you? Like, so for me, like my first buck was like a little, I guess my first buck with a bow was a little 6-point, and it was the same kind of story. I'd missed that buck like the week prior.
Yep.
And then it was like really bad weather. And I went out, and actually I got out of work early to go, and it was like terrible weather. And I told the guy I had to go to the post office, and then I went and got in the tree. And the dude's like, "You're going to go sit out in this?" And I was like, "Yep." I killed that buck that night. But then it was like just kind of like the floodgates opened for like, now I got a taste of like completely infatuated, which is funny because that's something I don't think happens like with fishing.
Yeah,
like,
right. Oh, yeah. Oh,
like,
well, so a couple years before that, so after I shot the doe with my bow, I killed a 6-point on the youth hunt with my dad with a gun. And then I shot that buck with my bow. And then I was kind of on a roll for a little bit there, dude. There's like 4 years in a row I shot a nice buck. The next year I shot a really nice buck. The next year on the youth hunt again, my last youth hunt, which that doesn't count like the other ones do. But then on opening day of rifle in 2016, I shot like a 139-inch ink point on my uncle's land. And that's, to this day, the biggest buck I've ever killed. And that year, both of my uncles like talked to me. They were like, "Hey, you know, like you're 16." But I mean, and they weren't mad about it or anything. Like I hunted every day, you know, like I hunted like no matter what I did, I was hunting. Like I was hanging tree stands. I was making food plots with rakes, dude, and weed whackers, you know. Like, I mean, it's not like I didn't put the time and effort in, you know. And that's why I talk about that buck that I missed all the time. I'll get to that in a second. So they told me, they were like, "Well, hey, you can't expect, like, you know, you've been going up for like a long time, you know, like it's still got to be fun. Like you can still have joy in like a really nice buck, you know." And like they told me, they were like, "You know, we get past in like 2.5-year-olds, you know, like all that's cool, you know, but you still got to appreciate like a nice buck, you know, especially in Michigan, you know." So you know, I listened to him, whatever. Well, the next year, October 18th, dude, my dad had just gotten this new property. He sold our cabin, got this other piece of like land. We didn't have any food plots on it yet. We didn't have nothing on it yet. We had 2 tree stands, and we were hunting out of climbers besides that. Like no blinds, no nothing yet. This totally new piece. And we didn't really, the cabin was kind of like, the cabin we had before this was kind of a bust. Like the hunting was never really that good. We put a lot of time into that property, and there was 3,000 acres of public across the street, and it was half high ground, half swamp, and there was like nothing really there to like hold it, you know. The road eld around it. So like, you know, you can't really hold deer like that, you know? And, so my dad was like, "Hey, you know," and me, like, if my dad tells me to shoot, dude, I will shoot. Like, my dad was like, "Hey, you know, if you see a doe, shoot it, you know, like, let's make this piece, let's start it off good, you know?" And I'm sitting up there thinking like, dude, honestly, I haven't shot a deer with my bow in a couple years. Like, if it's got horns or a doe, like anything, like I'm shooting it tonight, you know? And, dude, literally, I'm up there playing Flappy Bird. Like, Flappy Bird on my phone, you know, in 2018 when it was popular. You know, sitting up there doodling, and it's windy. So my dad and I have this little, like, thing between each other. My dad hates hunting in the wind and hates hunting when it's raining. I've never shot a big buck on a nice day ever in my life. Like, even the big 8-point I was talking about, I shot that in a thunderstorm, dude. Like, straight up thunderstorm on opening day of rifle. And every other buck, dude, and I swear, this is just my own conspiracy. I think big bucks move more when it's windy. I really do. And I think they're way easier to kill when it's windy, because when it's still and calm out, like, dude, you move up in a tree. I mean, think about being a human walking through the woods. If the trees are blowing like this and you're up in a tree, you know, and you're freaking grabbing your bow and drawing back, like, if it's a still day, as a human, you're going to be, you know, you know, you're going to pick that up right away, versus it's blowing whatever. You're looking around, you know, you're looking this and that. Like, I feel like, and even when it's windy, if you have deer in front of you, I feel like you can get away with so much more up in a tree. And so, dude, this day was so windy. Like, that's just one thing I remember about it, like super duper windy. And I literally looked down, and I was sitting in a cedar tree on this island that's now a food plot. But it was all ferns back then, like all ferns, like kind of a dead island. Like deer just kind of crossed it. They didn't ever really use it, you know? And I'm sitting up in this big cedar tree, and dude, I literally look over from my phone and I see a deer's ass, right? I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I'm shooting this thing. It's like 5 yards away. It's eating off a cedar branch. I can't see its rack or anything yet, but I can see its ass, and I can kind of see its nose down there. And I can see a branch, this big draping cedar branch. Dude, it was only like a foot under my platform. because cedar trees like drape way down, and he was pulling cedar boughs off it, like eating them. And I'm like, oh yeah, like he's done. So I freaking grab my bow and stand up. Dude, the minute I stand up and look down, I see this rack. And the first thought that I had in my head was the conversation I had with my uncles the year before. I was like, they thought I was never gonna get one bigger, And and I freaking, dude, it was my first year with an adjustable. I had a Bowtech Carbon Icon, like I'd just gotten it, and it had a slide on it. So I'm sitting there thinking, all right, he's right under my tree. I slid it down in between 10 and 0, like just thinking like he's right under my tree, like, and there was a hole right there. And to this day, I still don't walk straight into this tree stand for this reason. Dude, he takes like 2 more steps. I could literally see his leg, and I could see his rack, and I'm shaking like crazy, but I had one little gap. I was like, oh, if he just gets right there, like I'm freaking sending one through. Dude, he like stops. I see him sniffing the ground. I'm like, shit, he's going to run out. And this is where I wish I would have still had my old 3-pin, because I shot all the time. So like I was always ready to rip. Well, I had my bow drawn back, and he kind of hopped twice, and he ran out to 30 yards and just stood there like 33 yards, like right on the money. And I never thought about it. I just pulled up, I aimed, I shot. Dude, it went like a foot under that deer, like way under that deer. And he ran out to like 70 yards, and it was so windy, he almost like didn't even know what happened, but he just milled around and left, and I never saw him again. But that buck I talk about that thing every bow season. Like that would have been the biggest buck of my life. He had bottle cans coming out of his head. He was a, big typical 8-point, like perfect deer, dude. And yeah, I think about that deer all the freaking time.
So that's interesting that you say that and you put that out there in that way, where you were like, it didn't matter what it was going to be. It didn't matter. The horns didn't matter if it was a doe. So I can't imagine you haven't heard about all the regulations and all the stuff going around. Like, so what do you think about that?
For this one.
What do you think about that? Because like what you said there, like could be considered like the problem, or that the fact that you were going to shoot a doe is good, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, would you have burned your buck tag on a 3-point if that's what was down there? Like how do you?
Well, so I had a funny conversation with one of my friends about this the other day. And most people I know actually are actually for it. And I used to be on the fence a little bit more about like the whole 1-tag deal and this and that, just because personally I like to hunt, so I do like having, but if I really look at like the facts of what I do every year, right? Like I love killing a buck with a bow. Like I won't lie, if a 2.5-year-old pretty little 8-point walks in front of me with my bow, I will kill it. But that's like the root of the problem right there, If I had 1 tag, I wouldn't kill it. So like just like that little thing right there tells me, and that's exactly what I was telling my buddy the other day. I was like, think, everyone our age, every single one of our friends that hunts, the minute frickin', we get those 2 tags in our hands, we bow hunt and we hunt for a smaller deer. Like not a smaller deer, but one that will put a smile on our face, and we can, take a picture with it and be happy and do a Euro mount or whatever we do with it. Every single one of us do that. So just knowing that, like right there, and seeing what me and all my buddies do every year, like, that's a statewide thing, right? And, and I'm all about people going out, hunting, having fun, whatever. But I've hunted public land spots. I've hunted whatever. You can't tell me you got to shoot 2 spikes. Like, you can see a doe. You can shoot more does. Like, dude, I don't even know what the number is, and I don't want to, like, be wrong. But I think, like, 80% of hunters don't shoot a doe in the state of Michigan, right? Yeah, so, like, that's insane. What's the point of stacking up buckets of these little bucks? And, people are like, and I'm all about it's not about the rack. Like, honestly, even up at our deer camp, sometimes I wish we'd pull a bunch of random campers to a piece of state land and just try to shoot something, no matter what it is, because it does, even me, I'll have a big buck on camera, it gets in my head and I'm like, man, like, I love deer camp, guys, but like, I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to walk way back into this stand. Like, sometimes I wish I didn't care that much, and I've, over the past couple years, I've gotten better about that, but I just, like, hunting is all about having fun, but I guarantee half of these guys that are mad, or 3/4 of the guys that are mad about this, are going to be really happy when they're holding it. Like, if these rules do change, I think they'll be really happy when they're holding a good quality deer and they're eating doe meat out of their freezer. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the hard part is like, so do you think, like, so from your buddies and your family that obviously hunts, your deer camp, all of that, like, okay, so first of all, like, how many does are you guys shooting in that group?
So on our property, I'd imagine so normally like towards the end of the year that like I really do like that late doe season with a gun and everything. Cause I'll get buddies out there. I'll get, maybe a couple family members, and me personally, I shoot a couple for someone else every year. I bet you on our property, we kill, like my dad and I always say, for every buck you take, you should kill 2. But I bet you we kill 5 does every year off that. My Uncle Kirk, they have a lease. I bet you they shoot 10 to 15 of them a year. And most of those guys do shoot one. My uncles that are a little bit more seasoned, they're not young and freaking ready to rip like me. Most of them guys do kill one really nice buck a year, and they just kill their one and, that's it. And I get it. Like, not everyone has a bunch of time to hunt. Like, I get all that. I get all of that, but I just don't think there's any reason why you need to kill 2 6-points. I can't, and I mean, I feel like a lot of these people have hunted in Michigan their whole life too. Like, if you would have asked me before I hunted out of state, like, if I think these rules should be changed, whatever, I'd probably say no, because I want to hunt as much as I can too. But, when I was working and everything, I was still planning it. Like, dude, the hunting anywhere else but here is so amazing. Like, amazing, and sure, some of those other states are 2-tag states, but they have a quarter of the hunters that we have here too, So they're not, the 2-tag isn't doing as much damage. And those people also, the whole mentality in those places are different too. Like, they won't shoot it unless it's a giant, and they don't care. But like, when I go down hunting with my cousins, dude, they'll have doe days and they'll fill up the back of a little Dodge Dakota with does, I mean, and they do that regularly, doe tags are cheap. You go buy a doe tag and everyone's like, like there's this guy, it's my cousin's grandpa. He's hilarious, really cool dude. But he accidentally shot a 180-inch buck with his gun, because it was standing out in the brush and he was pissed. Like the whole mentality is like, just different. Like, like a guy down there that's really hunting for meat, they really do. They just shoot does. Does taste better. They're leaving the bucks for the guys that care about that, and that's just how it is. And I understand, like, people just like hate change. Like, but all the people that are mad about this, like, you can change any rule in this state and people get mad. You know what I mean? Like, even when we had to register our kill, people were mad. And people put on Facebook, like straight up put on Facebook, like, oh, I won't be registering my kill. And it's like, okay, well, you're not doing any of this stuff for, necessarily the right. Like, I understand. I don't want the government controlling my life either. But like, they're trying to do things to make it better, so we can be like other states and have good hunting right here at home. I think in the long run, some of the stuff they're trying to do would actually help it a lot.
So do people like so that's your family, like your friends?
Yep.
Your friends shoot does also?
Yeah. Yep. But also what I said, we kill that. We're really easy with that first tag. And just like knowing that with me, like, I know it would help. Like, it would help our property. I guarantee it. 'Cause every year I go out there and I see a nice 2.5-year-old and I shoot it, Versus I'd be 10 times more patient if I just had one tag.
But so with killing that many does already, do you think you would kill more does? Because I think you're like me.
Oh, yeah.
You just like to shoot stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I'd be way easier. Yeah. Oh, I would make sure I shot multiple does with my bow right away because I mean, and to be honest, I've shot a lot of 2.5 for 8 points now. And it's funny because my dad told me, he was like, don't shoot it unless you are going to mount it, because he thought that would get me to stop. I have like 3 2.5-year-old 8 points mounted, So yeah, I do like to kill deer, and yeah. And dude, I think if that was, I think after like a couple years, dude, like if once people saw like the results of, doing some of these things they're talking about, and I'm not saying everything they're doing is perfect, but I mean, they're trying, I think.
So I think I understand that the like bigger buck is going to be like a byproduct of this.
Yep.
But I don't think that it's necessarily like the reason.
Yep.
It's like we have to get people to kill more does.
Yep.
And there's a guy online who has some really good points about like we shouldn't be hoping that we shouldn't be managing the deer herd by hoping other people will kill more does.
Yep.
Like, we need to figure something out, but everything that's been tried or proposed or shot down hasn't worked. So
Yep.
I don't know that there's a good answer other than you have to try things and fail.
Right.
Or try things and see what works. Like, I don't understand. But it seems to me like the people that I know who like they aren't casual deer hunters that like to, and it sucks, right? To say it, like to be like, I like to kill stuff,
Yep.
because it just sounds
Yeah,
bad.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But you're going to shoot more does.
Yeah.
Because you're, it's like, I'm not going to just stop hunting because I only have one tag. It's like, I'm going to hunt probably longer for something better,
Well, yeah. And I mean, one unrestricted tag, if you want to shoot a spike, go out there and do it. If you like, I would never ever tell somebody what they should and shouldn't shoot, but that's what will happen. I mean, if you really want to go out and shoot a 6-point, go out and shoot a 6-point, but you might see a giant 10-point in the middle of November. You're not going to be able to kill it. But, I think it'll teach. And I don't know. I was really lucky when I was a kid getting to hunt the places that I did and everything, because it kind of showed me some of that stuff early. Like, hey, if you burn them real quick on whatever, like you're going to have to sit there and watch a nice one walk or, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. But, and there's other people, like, dude, even being on Michigan Buckpool, like, I've wanted to leave that page. Like, dude, it's just crazy. People are going to get mad at any change you make. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off. You either do it slow and let them talk about it, or you just rip it off, I think it would work out for everyone more in the long run. And dude, does taste better. I mean, anyways, they do. Like a doe tastes better than a 1.5-year old buck. Like it does.
The thing that gets me is that these guys, all these guys who are saying like this for the trophy hunters, like, don't tell me what I gotta shoot, but they want to shoot 2 deer with antlers,
right?
And they're not going to shoot any does. So who's like going after a trophy,
right?
Like that's what I don't understand. Like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, and that like. Of all of the things of the, and it's like the Joe Rogan, like, don't read the comments type thing. But like, I try to get like everybody's perspective to see if like I'm missing something here. But seems to be like the overwhelming majority is like, don't tell me what I have to shoot. I want to shoot X. You're just a trophy hunter. Like,
it's not about trophy hunting.
Exactly.
Really. Because I mean, no one's telling them what they should and shouldn't shoot. I just don't think they should be able to shoot 2 of them. And if you just look at numbers, like, dude, we have so many. Like, I sit on fields or whatever. I see 100 does and 2 bucks. I mean, all the time. I mean, not as much anymore because a lot of fields are getting fenced and everything. Like, we need to, and like that's a whole nother thing to it. There's so many does that it's actually a problem. I mean, it's just. And people in every year, 80% of hunters are just shooting the bucks, like that's, And I mean, eventually, farmers are going to stop having us get leases. They're going to fence the fields and they're going to, they're going to forget about it. I mean, but it's so, like people are so stuck in, what it was 30 years ago too. Like if you look at pictures of buck poles, dude, they'll have 30 spikes. Even when I look at my grandpa's pictures, they'll have a truck bed load of spikes, which is what that was back in the day, And even my neighbor that I used to hunt with all the time, he would always say, if you kill a doe, you're killing 3 deer, And it's like, and, that's the other thing. There is certain counties that shouldn't have 8 doe tags. Like, definitely. Like, honestly, even the county we live in right here, really. But the thing is, they sell 8 doe tags. And I don't believe, maybe they do. I don't believe in this exact area that we're in right now, anyone's probably filling 8 doe tags, But there is counties that don't need 8 doe tags. But there's counties that you could kill. Each person could kill 20 and it'd probably help, and that's even like when I'm down in Illinois hunting, Here you go sit on a standing bean field, right? You'll see 80 does. If say there's snow, that's the only crop left. You'll see 80 does, maybe 5 bucks, I go down to, in the other part is like just being able to experience some of this stuff, dude. Like you'll be down there and you'll see a hot doe go run across the field. There'll be 3 bucks on her, because the ratio is just so different. Like, and I've never sat there on a field and seen 80 deer, 40 deer, 30 deer. I've sat there and seen 20 deer, but there's 10 bucks right there. I mean, like it's, I don't know. It's just,
but the thing is like, don't tell me what I'm supposed to experience. I don't want to have a good hunt like that. You don't know what a good hunt is. Like, I don't want to see all those bucks. I want to go out there and shoot.
And we're not saying they can't go. No one's saying they can't go to deer camp. No one's saying they can't shoot the one spike. I have a hard time understanding it too.
Yeah, so they did propose like what the amendments were APRs. With that.
Okay.
So zone 3 is 4 on a side. Zone 2 is 3 on a side. And then they're talking about not changing anything in the UP. Leaving it $2 and everything. So
that's crazy.
It's wild. And so that's why I think it's kind of, it seems kind of like underhanded, to do that. And I feel like it seems kind of bad for all the guys that pushed for so long for the APRs and they just kind of kicked them in the dick and said
Right.
no, and then now they're like, oh, you're going to put all this work in for $1. Oh, we'll throw the APRs on at the end of that.
Well, yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with that because I mean, like, I don't know. I think because like that's where you could really say some guys don't have a lot of time. Some people do get really happy over a buck. I mean, me, dude, if I was working all the time and this and that, I would be happy to go out there and shoot a 6-point that was chasing a doe because it is like a different experience shooting a buck too. Like I would never go as far to telling people what buck they can and can't shoot. And APRs, I think they work really good. But I mean, how many 2.5-year-olds are 8 points?
Well, and that's the thing is that the APR thing. Now you can start saying, okay, now you're just trying to get a bigger age class of deer.
Right. Yeah.
That not just the $1, because for $1 for me, that literally, I mean, and that's what they were calling it for the UP single buck tag.
Yep.
Was hunter's choice.
Yep.
And I've always said, and I'll die on this hill, is that if you take your 10-year-old kid out there and during the regular season or whatever, which and they're not on a mentored youth, so 10 would be the age, and a 4-point walks out, you're going to take away that experience.
Yeah, you're going to tell that kid he can't. Yeah, right.
And now people would argue you're supposed to be educating them to that they're supposed to be okay. So that's a fair point, but your 85-year-old grandpa on his last hunt,
right?
You're going to take that experience away from him.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
now
definitely.
that's a whole nother thing. And so like you're robbing people. And I joke around with people because I'm the deer camp guy. Like when you go out and pass a deer, I'm going to ostracize you. I'm gonna rib you to death because you took the experience of me dragging that deer out, having those tailgate beers.
Yep.
That's your fault. You robbed that experience from me.
And dude, I say that all the time. Like, and that's why I've always like with the deer videos, I've always like said, like if you want to pull the trigger and you're up there shaking, like who cares what people think? Like pull the damn trigger because you're gonna have fun with your buddies tracking it, dragging it out. And I've always said that. Yeah, I would never want. I don't really like. I would rather have one tag than just antler point restrictions. Yeah, and I mean I don't believe. Yeah, because I mean, dude, even dude, I mean, if my dad came to me and said I want to shoot a spike and that'll make me happy, I'd say hell yeah, like shoot the spike, But I just don't think you should be able to shoot 2 spikes, Right. And I mean I guess we do have one restricted tag right now, so you can't. But I mean that hasn't helped anything in the last however many years.
Well, in I feel like there's a lot in I will say like. Okay, if we've got such these better ideas, like they should have proposed them earlier or whatever, you should have been an advocate. But I think, I've said it for a long time. If they still gave you 2 tags, right?
Yep.
But you had to shoot your first buck to get your second tag.
Yeah.
So that you couldn't shoot a 8-point first, use your restricted tag, and then kill a spike on the last day of the season. Or you had to earn your second buck tag by shooting a doe.
Right.
There's other ways to do it. And even I think it would be a concession to say, like back in my day, because I'm old, like your dad probably was on the edge of this too.
Yep.
Where you used to get 1 for gun and 1 for bow.
Right.
Right before the combo tag. Now, that might be okay too.
Yeah.
But because I feel like, if you look at the data says that the most deer are killed November 15th, 16th, and 17th.
And I think that's our biggest problem.
Right. But you see two bucks, like you said, 2 6-points or, two bucks chasing the same doe, pow, pow.
Yep.
Dead. So if you can't, and even like in Tennessee, you can kill 2 bucks, but you can't kill them both on the same day.
Yep.
Like, some sort of restrictions like those would change things dramatically.
Well, and if they're going to change anything that I think can make a big difference, guns, dude, we shouldn't be able to gun hunt for a month. That's the biggest problem right there. And I really believe that. Like, dude, I think opening day should be a weekend.
Well,
I think there should be 2 weekends that you can hunt with a rifle. Done.
Well, they're changing. The proposed changes are a 9-day season.
Yep.
And they're saying to do it from, and this is weird because it's in the Lower Peninsula, the weekend before Thanksgiving to the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So for the working man, you get Thanksgiving off anyways. Yep. So you can just take 4 days off and have 9 days to hunt.
Yep.
And then in the UP, of course, they're saying, well, we're not going to change anything.
Yeah,
It's
which
still
is
different.
crazy. Yeah.
Now, they are saying that there's a no hunting period for the week before.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But hey, I mean, yeah.
but
I follow the rules. So, I mean, whatever the smart people think, I guess. But, I mean, I'm not, I don't, yeah.
But one thing they are talking about doing is taking that muzzleloader season, that gun forever season,
Yeah.
and making it a weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Like a 3-day season.
Yeah. Yep.
The second weekend in December.
Yep.
And to me, I think that's a great idea, because I think that's if you can create another November 15th, 16th, 17th, if you want to kill a deer and you didn't fill your tag, you by God are going to be in the woods those days, because you don't say, "Oh, well, I'll go next weekend. I'll go next weekend. I'll go next weekend." You say, "I'm gonna have to be there."
Right. Yeah. And I don't. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. That no hunting thing's pretty wild though.
Yeah.
That would hurt.
well, like, because they said it was a proposed like quiet period where we have a quiet period, but that's like no sighting in guns or whatever.
Yep.
And now they said it's a quiet period with no hunting. And
so you can't even bow hunt through there? Yeah, right. Okay. Yep.
So I mean, for us in the Lower Peninsula, that would be like, it's kind of okay, at least for me. It would be starting basically like November 13th, I think.
Yep.
That's
a good day.
Well, but for me, like, because it's basically the 15th through whatever, or right in that time frame. I mean, that's when I would go out of state anyways, because I never gun hunted. So
okay.
So I always just go like the 15th through the 20th or something. That's when I go, because you don't run into any Michigan. They'll probably change my Michigan pressure in Kansas or Ohio or whatever, because everybody with that is back home gun hunting.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, in where I go hunting down in Illinois, that's the only difference on rules, is that the gun season is it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first one. Then it's done for 2 weeks. Then first week of December, there's a 5-day season, which is for guns, and you can only shoot a straight wall or like a pistol round, and you can have 3 if you're using a shotgun. You can use a muzzleloader too. With a shotgun, you can only have 3 in the chamber. With any other round, you can have 1 round in the chamber, and like that's all you get. And like I couldn't, and if we didn't change anything, I think changing that, like changing around, and I love opening day, dude. Favorite time of year, deer camp, frickin' November 14th. You go up there, you have a fire, you go to the bar, you hang out with your uncles, you laugh around the fire, and that's what people are gonna get really mad about if that happens. But that could still happen. You just got to change whatever. But dude, I think that we do it. Our gun season's right in the peak rut, dude. Like peak. Like so many deer die that is like the day that is on freaking fire, is that November 15th. And it's not that I want that to change, I guess, but dude, even shorter. I mean, it's insane that we can use a rifle that can shoot 300 yards with 5 rounds in the chamber for a month. I mean, it's crazy. It's nuts. I mean, that's just crazy to me. I mean, think about, and you can see it on Facebook. You can see it on Michigan Buck Poll. How many bucks get killed in that little season right there compared to archery season? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And that whole thing you're talking about with like your favorite time of year, deer camp and everything, isn't that kind of like what you got, or like what kind of like tripped your trigger a little bit more for like the deer videos and stuff?
Oh yeah, dude. My cousin Ben and my uncles are hilarious. Oh yeah, and I mean honestly, I was in 5th grade hearing jokes that there's probably no right age limit to what I mean. I would say I was too young, but I think it'd be too much for most adults probably too. I mean, because I hold back in them deer videos a little bit, but I don't. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely what shaped. Like, and dude, it was all like dude, when I went to ATA, NWTF, all these places, that is my favorite part about it, dude. Like, I had this guy come up to me. He was basically like crying, like, dude, like, and I'm not good with people that cry, whatever. But like, it's great, that I got to like, so he used to hunt with his wife all the time, and he came up and he was like, man, dude, like, it's my first year hunting without her. Like, I went on your page every time I thought about it, dude, and I just laughed my ass off, which like that's awesome. And I had other people walking up to me like, hey man, my dad and I were hunting public last year, and we had some guys mess up our hunt at 9 a.m. and we sat on a stump and I showed my dad and grandpa your videos, and we just sat on the stump and laughed our ass off for 3 hours, like just going through them. And I'm like, yes, like, and it's cool because I can see on my, and I always say this word wrong, people are going to mess with me, but analytics or analytics, however in the heck you say it, I can see, dude, on November 15th, that thing spikes like, dude, and I can literally see it on like all the apps, you know? So I just know people are sitting around the fire, like laughing at these videos. And I love that, you know, cause like I get to make that for like everybody, like not just at my deer camp, like everybody, you know? And my dad and I went to the bar last year, dude. And, you know, my dad, he hasn't came to the shows with me. He knows people, like, you know, like when we go out to a store or out to dinner, like, you know, someone will say something, whatever, you know, which is cool. But like, besides that, he's not really around it all that much. Well, I told him, I said, dude, if we go to the bar tonight, like people will probably know, and I'm not cocky about it or anything, but I was like, people will probably know me. Like people are out for deer camp tonight. Like they're probably going to know. Dude, we walk in there and, literally the first thing the bartender tells us is like, hey, them guys over there bought you some beers, you know? And I was like, oh yeah, you know? So then I can see them all up at the bar talking about it. I go up, I get a picture with the two bartenders. And dude, this was like a bar out in the middle of the woods. And you know, people always tell me about the bars back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, like just being packed with guys, like before opening day of rifle. And I always wanted to see that, you know? Last year was like the first year I seen that, dude. Everyone was in their camo, orange hats, dude. Like, I was really hungover opening morning last year, but dude, they were buying me beers. We were talking about deer hunting, like we were doing shots. I was taking pictures with the bartenders because their boyfriends watch my videos. Like, I mean, it was like, dude, I didn't even care about the hunt the next morning. I mean, honestly, I could have slept in, you know, I didn't. I actually shot a really nice buck, but yeah, it's just cool. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah. How has it? I mean, you said you shot a nice buck, but like, has any of it? I mean, you have more free time, but has any of it become like a burden or like taken away from?
I say I have more free time. Like really, I look back on it, and if you'd asked me when I was getting done with work and everything, how much I was going to steelhead fish the next year, I would have told you every single day. But dude, I went to like 6 different shows probably. That's a lot of travel. You know, and I got to go to Washington State and Oregon a few weeks ago in sturgeon and steelhead fish. You know, that was a week and a half. And I mean, yes, it was a blast. Like, dude, I'm so glad I got to go do those things. And going to the shows is a blast. Like, I get to meet people that I never dreamed of meeting, like Tim Wells, like, you know, all these people that I get to meet. Like, it's great. And the coolest part about it is normally when I go up to them, they know me. And I'm like, no way, you know me, dude. Like, I've been watching you since I was, like, little, you know? Like, I literally call my dad and say, like, I schlocked that thing, you know? Like, because I've been watching him forever, you know? And so, I mean, that's cool. And the funniest part about it is sometimes when I'm waiting in line for him, I'll have a line teed into it, you know? That's not quite as big, but sometimes close. And they're all saying, hey, bud, you know, this and that. But one thing I will say is honestly, I don't even know how I worked. You know, I mean, I do know how, you know, because I'd make those videos till 7, 8 o'clock at night sometimes. But I've been really busy ever since. Like, I probably steelhead fish this much year. I mean, sure, I got to go out on more mornings, or I got to, like, make it work where I wanted it to work. And it wasn't rushing out there after work. But, like, I still had stuff to do, you know. I mean, I got to keep it up every day consistently, you know. And, you know, between talking to brands and doing stuff for this, like, I do a lot of videos that people don't see, too, you know, that I just kind of, like, send off to the brand and it's in the wind, it's gone, you know. But that's something, when you're doing videos for a brand, like, and people are always surprised to hear this, but none of my videos are, like, scripted, like, zero. I make one part and I make the next part and I kind of fill in the gaps. It's all just, like, one idea and I just go make it, you know. But when I'm not very good at, like, scripted stuff. Like, it's better when it's organic and real for me. So, like, that takes a lot of time. You know, and just having, like, you know, like this hunting season, like, if I'm going to film my hunts, like, I want to have really good spots. And this sounds stupid because I'm busy doing really cool stuff that I'm really grateful to be doing. You know, like, I'm not complaining about it. But it doesn't feel like I get to do certain things quite as much as what I thought I was going to. But I mean, it's cool because 90%, I can never get sick of fishing. I'll never get sick of hunting. People always told me I'll get burned out of it, this and that. I've been doing I mean, even when I was at work, dude, I'd be making jokes at work to guys like, hey, the steelhead are crossing their fins in the hole, like hoping I don't get out early today, you know, or frickin', you know, whatever in the heck it was. But yeah, I don't have as much time as what I thought I was going to have, you know. And it's funny because people always tell me, they're like, oh, how's being retired? And I kind of just roll my eyes and I'm like, man, I don't feel retired at all, you know?
So what is, in between seasons, like coming up in the summer, like that's the hardest part for, like, podcasts. Like, what's everybody talking about?
Yeah.
You can do so much stuff about, like, bow tuning and
yep,
tack and stuff like that. So for you doing videos about,
I basically I think I'm going into my 4th year doing it. So every year it's kind of been the same. So I didn't make the deer videos the first year of it. That started the 2nd year. I make the deer videos. I basically stretch it out till shed season. Last year I picked up on doing some snowmobile content and marketplace content. That helps me a little bit in between. But then shed season comes. And obviously deer being cold out in the snow, you can make some funny stuff about that. So that I've noticed it stays pretty solid until February-ish. And you can make a lot of funny construction skits too during that time too, because it's cold out. Everyone else is cold, And really, sometimes when I run out of ideas, something will happen. Like the other day, I didn't have any really I have ideas that I can make for deer season for this and that, but you're right. Like they don't do as well, and I don't expect them to, and I don't want to use my good ideas now that I can use in the fall, So, but I don't know. I've always just kind of, sometimes I'll make 10 different videos, 10 different days in a row, and the one that does the best, I'll take off with it. Like I did a collab the other day with digital taxidermy. That did really good. I'm collabing with some other people, but now I got that grandma lady, and I made one with that, then my mind just exploded. Now I have 30 ideas that I can do with that, so, and really the cool thing about it is you can find comedy in anything kind of, and if it happens to and this is the part that people always tell me sounds dumb, but in order to get good natural comedy ideas for a lot of my skits, I have to go hunting. I have to go fishing. When I used to do it with work, how I said I'd take one little thing throughout the day while I was at work and use it, I might have an idea when I meet an old guy at the boat launch or when I'm out there fishing and, a fish does something crazy or flops out of my hands or I drop the anchor on my foot or my buddy casts and almost snags my face, you never know, it's kind of the same thing, but I used to do it with construction when I was at work all day. Sometimes now I got to go in. A lot of times when I don't have an idea, I'll go fishing or I'll go for a walk in the woods or I'll go shed hunting or I'll do something along those lines just to be okay, I gotta make it about it. And normally when it comes to me, I'm like, yes. And I'll freaking run from my tripod and my phone and, make both sides do it. And yeah, so I really just kind of roll with whatever's in season, because that is one thing that's lucky for me. I did grow up hunting, fishing, trapping, making maple syrup, doing all this stuff that's kind of spread out throughout the whole year, because, dude, I played football and baseball when I played football till 6th or 7th grade, and I played baseball till the summer before 9th grade. But dude, my dad used to drop me off with his jet boat hooked up to his truck during football, going down to the river salmon fishing, dude. And my dad was the kind of guy hey, you started it, you can't quit. Dude, I'd cry. I'd walk up to football practice, wiping tears and be like, man, I got to be on that river. And I'd be freaking pitching in a baseball game, hearing turkey gobbles in my head and thinking about a steelhead freaking biting my line, and basically and my parents always told me you got to be busy. They always had me playing sports because they wanted me to be busy, all the time. But dude, I'd never had a problem being busy. I used to build these benches when I was 14, I built these wooden benches. Made $1,600 in a summer selling these benches for $20 a piece, dude. I was always doing something. I was always in the woods. I've never played a video game on a console on a TV in my life. And that was the other thing. Everyone thought I was gonna be really bored when I got done with this. I'm really good at keeping myself busy and I'm the kind of person if I'm not doing something that moves me forward, I get really bothered and stressed about it. So yeah, I kind of just always move through with the punches, and just figure it out. But
awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing what you do come up with through the summer and following along. And it's been fun. Yeah. It's awesome to see that you're local and
heck yeah.
All that. So thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, hey, no problem, man.